Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the K-Man 1971 back with my monthly comic book haul. This haul will pretty much comprise of everything that I picked up for the month of May. I have about maybe 70 books to show in this haul, so it's probably going to be a long one. I have a lot of opinions to get out there, too, so possibly some adult language. Who knows? Kicking it off as I usually do with the current stuff that I've picked up over the past month. Batman, Last Night on Earth. Anytime Snyder and Capullo are on the Batman title, I'm there. And this was definitely my read of the month. Great stuff. Batman Who Laughs, number 5, which has been good. It's been okay. Detective Comics, number 1003. And I can officially say this story has been a disappointment. Starting with this issue. 1003, and hence my first little mini rant. I'm also part of multiple other comic book communities online, as I'm sure many of you are, and one of those communities was Comic Book Facts. So once the Google page was taken down, I migrated over to their Facebook page, where this comic was spoiled on that page with the identity of the Arkham Knight the day before release, including pics right in the post, so there was no way to avoid it. So I'm more of a lurker in other communities, so just, getting information here and there. So I basically just put a post down there saying, spoilers, question mark, and then a couple of other posters got on me for like, well, this is a speculation site, and we didn't spoil Avengers Endgame, so you can't expect us not to be spoiling everything. So I basically told them that that I thought it was fucking pathetic and I was out of that site. And I ended up getting out of that community. So I just don't get, I guess I'm old, but I just don't understand how people don't consider it to be a dick move to spoil a story, including pics, the day before a book or a movie's release. That is just garbage. I might be older, but I've been to many other spec sites, and usually there's a spoiler warning ahead of said spoilers. So I don't get it. So whatever. Comic Book Facts, you suck. Moving on. Detective Comics 1004. Now this does sport as well as Detective Comics 1003. Awesome Mark Brooks cover, but the story, lackluster art, the origin of the Arkham Knight. I'm just saying, time-wise, it just doesn't make sense. That would mean everyone in the Bat family, including the villains, would probably be pushing their 40s. So I just don't understand it. Too bad. Moving on. Batman number 70. And number 71, which the Nightmare storyline is officially over with. And unfortunately, I heard Tom King's run on the title will be cut short. And they'll be doing basically what they did with Grant Morrison and letting him finish it off in like another miniseries, a la, Batman Inc. So at least he'll get to finish off his run. I've enjoyed Tom King's run for the most part. Number 50 was kind of anticlimactic. And, the Nightmare storyline has been a drag. But other than that, I think it's been a really great run on Batman. So I'll probably pick up the miniseries to see how I'll definitely pick up the miniseries to see how he finishes off his run. Justice League number 23. And number 24. Snyder, just doing a great job. And Tinian, I believe, is the other writer. But great stuff. Year of the Villain, number 1. Great buy for 25 cents. Bought this mainly as a cover grab. Bad glare on that one too. Sorry about that. But The Deceased, number 1. I probably will not be picking up the rest of this miniseries. A zombie, spoiler alert, a zombie virus spread via social media. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. But love the covers. I'll probably pick up number 2 for the Nightmare on Elm Street homage, but that'll probably be it. Naomi, number 5. One more issue to go. Hopefully Bendis can wrap it up and see what this connection to the multiverse is all about. But I've been enjoying the title. Heroes in Crisis number 9. Ugh, I don't know. Didn't really care for the ending very much, but we'll see how this ties into the bigger scheme of things in the DC universe. Uh, you know, concerning Wally and Dr. Manhattan. I don't want to get into it too much in case people haven't read the book or have been spoiled online as of yet. Doomsday Clock number 10. Speaking of Dr. Manhattan, during this title, like I said, the only thing that the only major criticism I have is the same criticism I have for 7 to Eternity. It just doesn't come out on a consistent basis. Superman number 11. Green Lantern number 7. And Shazam number 5. Just 3 incredibly solid superhero titles. Great stuff. And on the spec pile, I had to go out there and snag Pearl number 1, the standard cover, as well as the B cover. I'm sure everyone's heard by now that Bender's made an announcement that there will be some kind of movie announcement concerning the Pearl IP. So we'll see how that goes. I gave the first issue a read. It was pretty good. I liked it. I didn't know that it was done by the same team as Alias back in the day. So good stuff. If I see the other issues out there at cover price, I'll be sure to pick it up. I checked online. I just picked these up yesterday, and they're going for maybe like $20-25. So if you can go out there and snag them off the rack, I would definitely do so. All right, moving on. That will do it for DC. Here's my one image book for the month, Spawn number 297. Haven't had a chance to read this yet, but it just seems like another part of the history of Spawn, and a lot of it just seems like all pin-up pages with dialogue, so we'll see. It seems like a pretty quick read. Immortal Hulk number 17, as always, consistently awesome. Immortal Hulk number 18, my cover of the haul right there, Alex Ross, still a master. Star Wars number 108. Ugh, I had to buy it just for the completist in me, I guess. This was an extra issue tagged on to the original Star Wars volume that Marvel started in the 1970s. And, ugh, man, I like the Walt Simonson cover, kind of, but the interiors are just really bad. This was obviously a cash grab, and I fell for it. Got me again. Rest in peace, Peter Mayhew. Thank you for entertaining me for the entirety of my childhood and a good portion of my adulthood, too. Rest in peace, my friend. Star Wars number 65. And number 66. I don't know. It just seems like the Star Wars arcs are a slow burn, and by the time it gets to the third, fourth part, it's pretty kick-ass. And we are at the kick-ass part of the story arc here. So, good stuff. Venom number 14, another fill-in, unfortunately, but nice cover. X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 18. Oops, sorry about that. Uncanny X-Men number 17. And number 18. Now, I know that the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, will be getting canceled as well as their entire X line, but, and normally I'd be kind of I guess, upset about this. Just another Marvel cash grab, another reboot, another excuse to throw a bunch of new number ones out there, which they'll no doubt do. But 2 words, Jonathan Hickman, and I am down. So I'm definitely down for that reboot. Jonathan Hickman, yes sir. Thank you very much. Savage Avengers number 1. I ended up getting this this variant edition. Well, it's not a ratio variant or anything, as you know, but well, it wasn't as bad as Secret Defenders, and it was cool to see Conan and Wolverine throw down again. But I just think the premise of this comic is pretty, I don't know, dumb. So kind of like Deceased, I will not be sticking around for the next couple of issues. A Conan comic that I am enjoying, Conan the Barbarian number 6. Always a great read, usually at the top of my pile every time I bring my books home on Saturdays. Savage Sword of Conan number 5, which ends the initial story arc, and I will be dropping this title moving forward. It just doesn't seem like there'll be a quality team moving forward, so and I don't really need 2 Conan titles on the pull list. So, but it was great with just for the Alex Ross covers alone. And we have Guardians of the Galaxy. I believe that's issue number 5. Or it might be issue number 6. I'm not sure. I think it's issue number 5. Awesome Gamora Battle Lines variant. Sweet stuff. And I also ended up picking up, let's see, for Free Comic Book Day, Bloodshot. Anytime that Valiant puts out a Free Comic Book Day one-shot, it's usually of pretty high quality. I'm really surprised that they don't do as well or better than they do. Oops, out of order again. Wow, I am a mess. Here we go. Avengers and Spider-Man for the lead-in to that Carnage Unleashed or whatever storyline that'll be coming out later on this summer. Let's see, what else do we have here? I have a couple of more newer books. So I ended up picking up 2 copies of Miles Morales Spider-Man number 6 for the first appearance of Starling, or first full appearance. Picked those up for cover price yesterday. And I also picked up 2 copies of Exiles number 2 that has the first appearance of the new MCU Valkyrie. And they also had their Exiles number 3. And these, as well as Miles Morales Spider-Man, these are all books that go for like the $10, $15 range online right now. So if you can pick them up for cover price, why the heck not? All right, finally, let's get into some back issues. Shout out to Strangeblade for showing this book off in his last haul, I believe. Impulse number 27, which has a cameo appearance, and hence kind of the first appearance in comics of Jay and Silent Bob. I'm a huge Jay and Silent Bob fan, so as soon as I saw that in his video, I had to go out there and hunt it down. Sensational She-Hulk number 1. Really high-grade newsstand copy. I already have She-Hulk number 1 from the first volume, so she's kind of hot right now, given the rumors of the Disney streaming service series. So we'll see how that goes. Pick this up for like $5. All of these books that you'll be seeing until I get into like the semi-keys that I bought, I guess, are in my usual from $1 to $5 range. Sensational She-Hulk number 34, the Demi Moore Vanity Fair homage cover. Power Pack number 1. This is my second copy, also a newsstand. Yeah, I don't know. Anytime I can find any of these on the cheap, I'm going to just keep on picking them up. It's one of those intellectual properties that I just have a feeling that Disney will not be able to resist eventually. Ah, yes. This silly book. War of the Gods number 1. So, I guess a couple of weeks ago, this blew up because on a very popular YouTube channel, a YouTuber proclaimed this as the first appearance of Cersei in DC continuity, which was not true. But once the news was out there, this book kind of blew up online and went up to like $20, $30. I think it's still hovering around that between a $5, $10 range book. So I wouldn't pay anything more for $5 for like a really high grade copy and make sure the posters are intact. But it did remind me that I kind of wanted this back in my PC just for I love these George Perez jam covers. So even though the original, the poster of the video came out and admitted that they were wrong, this book kind of took off anyway. So, and then Comic Tom came out and said that the real reason that this book was popular was because it marked the 50th anniversary of Wonder Woman or some bullshit like that. So, that's not the truth. The reason that this book was hot is because people thought this was the first appearance of Cersei. But it did remind me also that I kind of wanted to hunt this book down. Wonder Woman 18 of Volume 2, which I picked up for $1. And this is the cameo appearance of Cersei. So for those keeping track, if you really want the first appearance of Cersei, that's not from the Golden Age, you'll want Wonder Woman from Volume 2, number 17, which is her cameo shadowed appearance. Number 18, where she appears on the final panel. And finally, the best bet, Wonder Woman Volume 2, number 19, where it has Cersei featured prominently on the cover. I guess for Wonder Woman bondage fans, you get the twofer because Wonder Woman's in chains. And for George Perez fans, you get a George Perez cover too. So there you go. But War of the Gods, if you're a George Perez fan, like I am, and you want to pick it up out of a regular long box, I'd still recommend it. Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, number 9. I already had number 8, so I wanted to complete that two-parter where Sam Wilson officially becomes Captain America for a short time. But for the first time. Moving along. Oh, I feel dirty showing these. Yep, they definitely have that DC 1970s implosion smell to them. These are a bunch of Atlas Comics number 1s that I picked up. These are all like $3 a piece. And I don't know. I mean, I guess there was a studio that picked up the rights for these characters in this universe, and they want to have their own contained universe to compete with Marvel. Good luck with that. I mean, looking at these characters, I don't know how they could do it unless they're doing it in a satirical fashion or some kind of parody. I don't know. But if you can pick these up on the cheap, why the heck not? It's like buying a cheap scratch ticket. So, Wolf the Barbarian, number 1. The Brute, number 1. Planet of the Vampires, number 1, which features a Pat Broderick in a cover that's inked by Neil Adams. Phoenix, number 1. Tiger Man, number 1. I mean, look at that. Oh. And the Destructor, number 1, which does actually feature artwork by Steve Ditko and inked by Wally Wood. So I guess that's kind of cool. But as I said, I have no idea how they're going to create a cinematic shared universe with this material. I have no clue. All right, continuing on in the Bronze Age with some better stuff. Miss Marvel, number 5. Number 11. Number 13. And shout out to Reed Comics 81, of course, for showing this off in his last haul. Giant size Conan the Barbarian, number 5, which features a cover by Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby doing Conan the Barbarian. Wow. That's just awesome. So thank you very much, Reed, for showing that book off. It's funny because I had this on my list, but I had no idea about it containing a Jack Kirby cover. So very cool. All right, a couple more ASMs off the list. Number 142, 164, 169, 171, and 192. Kind of like Hellboy, a lot of the Bronze Age ASMs in my area are really starting to dry up now. Anything before 200. So anything that I can scrounge up, I've been doing so. And all of these, like I said, were like $5 or under. So great pickups. Can never have too many ASM comics from the Bronze Age in this collection. The Incredible Hulk, number 168, which is the first appearance of the Harpy, which, well, I won't spoil it, but just recently re-entered the Marvel Universe in a somewhat altered form, but still pretty cool. Flash, number 323, and number 324, which features the death of Professor Zoom. I already own 325, so I'm psyched to finally finish off that story arc. It's been a while, too, and I was very surprised to be able to pick up both of those copies. Pretty high grade, too, for like $10 combined. I don't know if those books have really dropped in value or if I got a deal. I haven't really looked into it. All right. We have Swamp Thing number 2. And Swamp Thing number 3, which features the first appearance of the Patchwork Man, and more importantly, the first appearance of uh, Abigail. Oh my God, what's her last name? Oh, Abigail Arcane. Oof, getting old, people. So I own the complete Alan Moore run on Swamp Thing, the complete Scott Snyder run on Swamp Thing. So I really wanted to get around to collecting the entire Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson run on Swamp Thing. So really happy to pick these two up, and hopefully by my next haul I'll have this. I have about half of their run already. It was only like 9 or 10 issues, so I have about half of it right now, and hopefully by the next haul I'll be able to complete that one and have another, what I consider anyway, another classic Bronze Age run off of my list. Down to the last three, we have Superman 80-page giant annual number 1. Now, this is actually not the first Superman annual. That came out, like, I think 6 years prior to this, but this is just, I guess, another one of those Silver Age giant size specials. To be honest, I thought it was the first Superman annual, and I picked it up for $20. I thought I had a great deal. And this is still kind of a good deal, I guess, but still Silver Age Superman, still a premiere issue, I guess, annual. That's not an annual, but it is an annual. I don't know. But the main story features Superman having a bad trip on red kryptonite and fighting his younger self as Superman versus Superboy. So I thought that was pretty funny. Crazy 60s, a lot of bad red K going around. Game of Thrones number 1, another sweet Alex Ross cover, and I'm going to be in the minority here, I guess. I'm going to say something positive about Game of Thrones online. I enjoyed the last season. Do I wish that we had some extra episodes? Sure, I sure do. But for what we ended up getting, I was pretty satisfied with the conclusion. What made Game of Thrones great is, I know it sounds cliche at this point, but they ended up subverting expectations. The guy that you thought was the lead ended up dying in season 1. The son that you thought was going to avenge him and hook up with the great princess ended up dying in a red wedding. A lot of people that you thought were heroes were villains, and I thought it was pretty good. I mean, you can't expect that to have the ending with the bow on top. There was already a fantasy epic that ended with the bow on top. It was called Lord of the Rings for the most part. So if they went complete Lord of the Rings ending, I think people would have been pissed off no matter what. So do I wish that Dany would have had a full episode added on just to enhance her downward spiral into madness? Hell yeah, I would love that. Jon Snow, I mean, how much of a happy ending could he get, really? I mean, did people really want him to hook up with Dany and have a bunch of incest kids, or be the king, even though he stated throughout the series that he didn't want to be king? I mean, maybe I'm just interpreting it the wrong way, but once he gets to the other side of the wall and that door closes, I think that symbolizes that part of his life closing, and he's entering a new part of his life. The camera angle showing the hot wildling girls looking at him on the way out, the directors do that on purpose. He's free now, and he's exploring a new world. That's where he was more meant to be. So, and Arya, oh, I mean, who wasn't happy with Arya killing the Night King? I mean, my God, that was freaking epic and out of left field. So I think a lot of the lore will be explained in a lot of the prequel series that are coming up. I think a lot of the people that are bitching about D&D's handling of the end of the series will be the same people lining up to see their Star Wars trilogy, and the same people that will be lining up to watch the new Game of Thrones prequels once they start rolling out. So I just thought some of the cinematography was epic, and it showed me stuff that I'd never seen before. Do I wish the Battle of Winterfell had a little bit more light so I could see what was going on? Yeah, of course, man. But who am I to judge? And all these people that are saying that they could have came up with a better ending, or petitioning for competent writers to handle it. Come on, man. You're just someone on YouTube posting, and they're actual writers writing and entertaining millions of people. So it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm old, and I just don't think people can enjoy things the way that I was able to enjoy them back in the day. Not with a Twitter hate first. I mean, can you imagine if Return of the Jedi came out now? Now, I think most people look back to the original Star Wars trilogy and consider it a classic. But can you imagine if Return of the Jedi came out now with Twitter? Are you telling me I spent 10 years of my life and you end it with fucking Ewoks? Are you kidding me? You killed my inner child. You killed me now, and you killed my future. Everything sucks. You suck, Lucas. Ugh. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of Ewoks either, but I'm not that kind of person either to go nuclear online about it. So, that's it. My Game of Thrones rant's over. Liked it. Sorry. Pick of the Haul. Amazing Spider-Man number 100. So happy to pick this up finally in a good grade. There was one at one of my comic book shops, probably VG condition at like 80, 90 bucks. So this is a very fine. I picked this up for, I believe, $70 shipped. Very happy, and it was one of the more key issues out of that run from 100 to the end of the McFarlane era, which I'm trying to complete. Those early 100 issues can can run you a little cake. So I think the only ones that I have left will be the first appearance of Morbius and the death of Green Goblin in 122. And I think the rest of them will be somewhat pretty affordable. So we'll see how that journey goes. So that's all I have for this month. I will be back next month with another comic book haul as usual. Also, as usual, thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. So take care. See ya.